Hey, what's up everybody? Ross Thomas here for the Brotographer.com, and today I wanted to test out the Canon 70-200 f2.8L Mark II with image stabilization and the Tamron 150-600 G2 on the new Sony A7RIII with a Metabones adapter. So without further ado, let's get right into it. We're going to test some continuous autofocus with the subject coming directly at us, which is typically one of the hardest scenarios to autofocus in continuously for a camera. So let's check that out. All right, Beth, let's have you go down. All right, guys, I am in continuous high, not high plus, so that's 8 frames a second with live view using back button autofocus. Nice. All right. So let's take a second, review some of those pictures. All right. So in the beginning, it looks like she is looking very sharp. As she gets toward us and I switched to eye autofocus, looks like the camera had a little bit harder time focusing on her. All right, so I'm gonna be shooting in JPEG because I want to be able to shoot as many pictures as possible, and RAW really doesn't matter right here. This is not a buffer test, so let's take a look at Beth and see if the camera can keep up with her while she's running directly towards us. Picking up her face. Keep going. Keep coming towards me. Keep coming. Keep coming. All right. All right, so my AF drive speed is now set to fast, and my AF tracking sensitivity is set to responsive. So we'll see if we get a little bit better results in this test. We're gonna do the same exact thing at 200 millimeters. And go, Beth. All right, so it's looking like we're getting a few dropped frames in there in the midst of the sharp ones. Don't know why, but it looks like we're getting about a 50% hit rate. So we're gonna try this test one more time with her running pretty much at a full sprint at us and see if we get any in focus. All right, so with that sprint test, it looks like initial acquiring focus is really good. And when she's more than 50 feet away, focus seems to be really accurate and nice. However, as she comes closer to us and each additional step is exaggerating how much closer she's getting to us, the autofocus seems to lock on the first initial one, but is not tracking her. So now let's switch over to the 150-600 G2 from Tamron and see if we have better results. All right, guys, so now we have the monster, the Tamron 150-600 G2 here on the A7RIII, with the Metabones Mark IV adapter. We're gonna do the same array of tests. We're gonna see if we get better results than on the Canon 70-200 f2.8L Mark II. In case I didn't mention it, all those shots were in 2.8. We're gonna be shooting wide open, which is a much more narrow aperture on the 150-600, so it's possible that it could handle better, but let's check it out. All right, guys, so we are shooting at f5.6 with a shutter speed of 1/2500th of a second. So, see how she does. And we're gonna zoom in all the way to 600 millimeters and acquire focus. Seems like that focus is doing pretty good. We're at ISO 800 in order to get our shutter speed up. All right, Beth, go for it. Gonna zoom out. All right, and let's see how she did. So it looks like hit rate was pretty low on those. Initial focus was fine, but it didn't look like it held up with her very well. I'm going to turn this to high plus. I'm also going to set the autofocus to AF priority. So now I've got all my settings set to extremely responsive for autofocus. When we're doing continuous focus, the AF is what is set to its priority instead of shutter release. So let's see how it does with everything set to its max speed, max responsiveness. We're zoomed out to 600 millimeters and go! All right, looks like it did a little bit better. Still looks like we're dropping some frames pretty badly in there. We'll drop about 3 or 4 in a row. I will reacquire focus and I'll get her back in for 3 or 4 in a row. She'll go out of focus again. Okay guys, so I had hoped for much better with the 70-200 and 150-600 G2. This doesn't really say anything about these lenses on their native bodies. They're fantastic at focusing in continuous. I had all my settings turned up to responsive, sensitive, with autofocus being the priority instead of shutter release, and it didn't seem to make that much of a difference, possibly about 10% more I was able to get in focus. But take that for what it's worth. If you guys are trying to use the A7R III for birding or sports photography where somebody's going to be coming directly at you, it does not seem like it's going to be the best camera for the job when you're adapting that glass. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll be doing more autofocus tests with the A7R III with both native and Canon and Tamron glass here in the future. If you haven't checked out the Sony I autofocus with adapted glass, check that out down in the description below, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.